I'm saying one thing, I don't want George to concentrate on one hand because it would be three of them coming at him.
There he goes, three times. Three times, the fight is stopped. No, it is not.
We know what you're about, George. You don't know nothing about me.
Heavyweight title! I don't believe this! Joe Cortez took.
These fools laughed at George Foreman. They called him slow. They called him clumsy. But when the bell rang, those laughs turned to cries. Because Foreman didn't just hit people. He erased them. Every swing of his fist sounded like Judgment Day, a sermon in violence. He didn't roar like Tyson or pose like Ali. He just hit. And when he hit, grown men collapsed like buildings. This is the story of the unlucky men that pissed off the gentle giant, mistaking his calmness for weakness and got buried in pain.
Tonight, Frazier getting the left, Frazier getting the right, Frazier taking it from George Foreman. Foreman again with the right. Second knockdown in the round. One more.
You're in the knockout realm. Let's step into the ring. If power gives you chills, hit that like button. And if you believe in boxing karma, subscribe. Because what you're about to see is divine retribution in gloves. Before he was smiling on TV, he was terrifying men in the ring. Before the grill came the fire.
Foreman hitting the heavy bag is one of the more prodigious sights I've had in my life.
George Foreman, the silent storm of the 70s, a man who didn't talk trash, he simply deleted it. They called him Big George, but in the ring he was more like a wrecking ball with a heartbeat. He didn't box to score points, he boxed to end arguments. Every punch was a statement. Respect me or regret it. But time changed him. The rage cooled. The preacher was born. And when he came back, older, softer spoken, the world forgot what lived inside those gloves. They forgot that even mercy has a breaking point. Because when arrogance crossed that line, George Foreman stopped preaching and started punishing.
Well, I'm not going to say too much about George because you all know that I'm not really a great rapper, mouth run offer. You know, it is like some people we know.
Joe Frazier was the king, the man who beat Ali, a fireball of pride and pressure. And across from him stood a quiet 24-year-old who everyone said wasn't ready. The betting odds were 4-1 against George. Frazier laughed, promising to beat respect into that kid. But when the bell rang, it wasn't respect that got beaten. Foreman launched like a hurricane, uppercuts that looked like he was trying to punch through time itself. One knockdown, then another and another. 6 times in 2 rounds, the champion hit the floor. Howard Cosell's voice echoed through the chaos. It's over! It's over! In the 2nd round.
Ferdy Pacheco, Ali's doctor next to me. It is over! It is over! It is over in the 2nd round!
It was more than a fight. It was an execution. Even Foreman himself didn't expect a championship fight to be so easy. And when it was over, the invincible Smokin' Joe walked out humbled. A proud king dethroned by silence and power. Foreman didn't just win the belt that night. He announced himself to the world, and the world learned what happens when pride walks into a storm. But vengeance has a memory, and the next man on the list didn't learn from the last.
In fighting Muhammad, it was a question of outthinking the man. It was like a game of chess. You try to make mistakes to make him make mistakes. It was a question of trying to nullify his speed. And with George, on the other hand, it's just the opposite.
Ken Norton, the sculpted soldier, the man who broke Muhammad Ali's jaw. He walked into Caracas dripping with confidence, every muscle flexed, every sentence loaded with arrogance. He called Foreman stiff, predictable, said he'd tame the bull. But what he didn't realize was that Foreman wasn't a bull that day. He was a storm waiting for lightning to strike.
Norton on the right-hand side of the screen, George Foreman on the left-hand side. Here we go, round one, the heavyweight championship of the world.
The first few seconds were civil. Then the storm hit. Foreman didn't throw punches. He threw earthquakes. Each jab snapped Norton's head back like a crash dummy in slow motion. Each right hand was a freight train looking for a destination.
Away. Foreman will try to push him. He'll push his man down with his left hand, and then
The crowd barely had time to breathe. Foreman cornered him. Boom! One right hand and Norton's legs vanished from under him. He rose dazed, only to walk straight into another hammer. By the 2-minute mark of round 2, his senses were gone. His body, a puppet on invisible strings.
count. No, he doesn't. His legs are rubbery as the left hand goes to the side of his head. A right uppercut, a left jab, and a vicious left sends Norton crumbling to the canvas for the second time. All over, and it is all over.
The man who broke Ali's jaw couldn't survive 5 minutes with Foreman. The scientific boxer found out there's no formula for surviving power that raw. When the referee waved it off, Norton's face said everything. Shock, disbelief, fear. Foreman didn't celebrate. He just turned away, gloves hanging by his sides, expression calm. For him, it wasn't revenge. It was maintenance, clearing another arrogant name off his list. Because when George Foreman's angry, you don't box him. You just pray the ropes catch you before the floor does. But legends fade. And years later, a new mouth rose to mock the old lion, forgetting that the lion still had teeth. By 1988, George Foreman was no longer Big George the Destroyer. He was Old George the Joke. At least that's what Dwight Muhammad Qawi thought. The former light heavyweight champion called Foreman's comeback a circus act. He said George was only beating tomato cans, promised to show the world the truth, that the preacher was washed, slow, and harmless. But George didn't argue. He just smiled. And every time someone called him soft, another right hand was waiting to remind them he wasn't.
Depending on your outlook, it's a good idea for him to be back or it's a bad idea.
Qawi tried to box cute, darting in and out, talking, smirking. Foreman just stalked him, silent, relentless. Each jab sounded heavier and slower, but it landed like a sledgehammer every time. The ring started to shrink. The crowd started to murmur.
But he doesn't back up, he keeps coming. Throws a bizarre right hand to the back of, oh, there goes. Something hurt Qawi to the back of the head.
It looked to me like it got hit in the back on the kidneys.
By the 5th round, the buzzsaw looked more like a man caught in a wind tunnel. He swung wild, missing air, his smile gone. Foreman's punches were short, simple, devastating, the kind of shots that make you question life choices.
Might have been a knockdown.
Big left hook by George. That is a knock.
Round 7. Qawi returned, but totally and clearly unfit to continue. And few punches later from Foreman, Qawi quit.
That was the first good left hook to the body, which I think he can land all day.
And I'm not sure that didn't really hurt Qawi.
The man who said Foreman was fighting mannequins had become one.
Well, it's an unsatisfactory ending, to be sure, from all standpoints. But as you look at George Foreman, he'll take...
No celebration, no roar, just that same calm smile, the preacher who didn't need words. Because in that moment, the world realized the truth. This wasn't an old man chasing glory. It was the same storm, with more patience. The next man would fall in shame, because mocking the old lion had become boxing's favorite hobby.
Today, everything's gonna be okay. Well, that's how it's been for me, and I've been doing everything I could possibly do to get myself in shape for this fight. And, I guess there's nothing else to say, but let's just get it on.
By 1990, George Foreman was 41 years old. Most men his age were grilling burgers, not skulls. But Jerry Cooney didn't care. He saw an old dog with soft hands and soft habits. He said Foreman was a walking payday, a statue waiting to be knocked over. What he forgot was that statues are built to last.
Effectively fighting the much shorter opponents that he's faced up.
The first round looked promising for the younger man. Cooney landed a few clean shots. The crowd erupted. "See?" They said the old man's finished. But Foreman didn't flinch. He took those punches like they were raindrops hitting a brick wall. Then he smiled, the kind of smile that says you just made a mistake.
Going with Jerry Cooney. Oh, there's a left from George Foreman.
Round 2, one jab, one right hand. And the fantasy of retiring George Foreman ended right there.
Oh, and look at the left. Come up and slice the left. And Jerry Cooney's in big trouble. He's ready to go.
The punches landed so clean it sounded like a car crash. Cooney managed to get up before the countdown, but that was a bad decision because what came next was devastating and life-threatening. The crowd fell silent. They witnessed what Foreman's old man power could do.
Because he's got a minute and 8 seconds left. Oh, and that's it.
And I don't think, hey, this fight's over. This fight's over. George Foreman blows away Jerry Cooney in the second round.
And he came over here to ringside and winked.
That night, the comeback clown turned back into a monster. Foreman didn't roar or flex, he just stood there, calm, timeless, because in his mind he hadn't proved anything new. He just reminded everyone of something old. He wasn't fighting for revenge anymore. He was fighting to show that power doesn't age, arrogance never learns, and the next fool thought Father Time was on his side. He didn't realize Time already wore George Foreman's gloves.
George Foreman, forever the preacher man. Michael Moorer thinks George Foreman is forever the con man.
By 1994, George Foreman was 45 years old, a preacher, a businessman, a punchline, and standing across from him, the undefeated 26-year-old champion Michael Moorer, faster, younger, hungrier. He called Foreman slow. He said he'd toy with him. He even laughed during training camp. The old man won't see round 5. Everyone believed him. The commentators, the crowd, the odds makers, they thought this was the night nostalgia finally died. But nostalgia had one last sermon left.
That corner of Mora crowded with some people, too. They got Ralph Citro and Miguel Diaz as cut man, and Mo Smith. There's 4 people working the corner of Michael Mora, all big veterans.
For 9 rounds, Moorer boxed beautifully. He peppered George with combinations. Every punch drew cheers. Every minute, another expert said, "He's done." But Foreman wasn't fighting Moorer. He was fighting doubt. He was fighting Father Time. And both were losing.
Floor from heavyweight punches. He's got greatly developed boxing skills, and I don't think we can measure at this point.
Round 10. Foreman steps forward. The crowd's restless. Then, a jab, another jab, and then the right hand that rewrote history.
Enjoying his best round of the fight here in round 10. There's a right hand. Down goes Moore. He's flat on his back. He may not get up. Not maybe. He's not moving. Moore could be above. It is over. And George Foreman has pulled off the miracle that no one thought.
The punch was short, sharp, and biblical. Moorer's lights went out instantly. Foreman walked calmly to the neutral corner, then knelt in silent prayer as chaos erupted around him. In that moment, boxing witnessed a resurrection. At 45 years old, the man who'd once been called a washed-up preacher became the oldest heavyweight champ in history.
Heavyweight history has happened. Referee Joe Cortez reaches the count of 10. At 2 minutes, 3 seconds of round number 10, the winner, and once again, heavyweight champion of the world, Big George.
He didn't scream, he didn't gloat, he just whispered, "Thank you, Lord." Because this wasn't just a victory, it was vindication. For every insult, every doubt, every fool who thought power had an expiration date. When the dust settled, the ring was quiet. No taunts, no laughter, no arrogance left to echo, just one man standing. The same man they said was too old, too kind, too slow. And yet every time they tried to bury him, he came back stronger. Because George Foreman was never just a boxer. He was time-wearing gloves, patience with a pulse, Proof that power doesn't fade, it waits. He knocked out champions, critics, and the clock itself. He showed the world that redemption isn't soft. It's sharp, sudden, and unstoppable. The preacher didn't shout his sermons. He preached them through pain. And the message was simple. Never confuse humility with weakness. So when you see that calm smile, that gentle stare, remember this. Behind that warmth is the same storm that silenced generations. He didn't need to roar. He just needed one punch. This is why you never piss off George Foreman.
So when you wish upon a star, doesn't matter who you are, anything your heart desire can come to you.
You've just witnessed the knockout realm. Stay tuned, because legends don't fade. They reload.